Way back before poker, I grew up idolizing this man right here.
Perfectly middle, dangerous. Oh, you gotta be kidding! It's Gronkowski. He gets away, and they're not gonna catch him. A receiver, George Brown, touchdown!
And how many times have we seen Tom Brady do this?
What I loved about the GOAT is that no matter what the circumstances were, he never shied away from the challenge and he never backed down. Oh, and his 7 Super Bowl rings. And today, I have the chance to follow in his footsteps. Over the past 6 years, I've been able to accumulate a total of 6 WSOP rings in my poker career. But here's the problem. I haven't won in over 2 years. I'm going to be playing in 2 high rollers as well as the main event here at the WSOP Circuit Series. With over $1.3 million in the total prize pool, all I care about is walking away with that coveted 7th ring. Welcome to the very first tournament series of 2026 for me. We're here in Planet Hollywood. I just landed here in Vegas and I want to go back to my roots this year. I know you guys really like these I Compete series and I want to go back to my roots of chasing WSOP circuit rings. I've got 6 of them and this trip we're going to go for 7. There's a few tournaments we're going to play. There's a $2,000 high roller, $1,700 main event, and the $3,000 high roller buy-in. So a lot of fun events happening over the next couple days. Happy to have you guys follow along the journey. And we're here in Vegas chasing the rings again. Back to what I've always wanted to do. I haven't won a World Series circuit ring in 2 years. I haven't really traveled any circuit events. But this is a different year. We're gonna go back to trying to chase accolades, chase rings, and win some tournaments. Let's go. Also, my favorite thing about being in Las Vegas, guys, is that you can play on Gold, this lovely site here, with my name Rampage. So if you wanna hop into some fun tournaments, some fun cash games, some PLO, micro stakes, high stakes, all the things, click the link in the description below. You have to be 18 years or older, be in Canada, be in US. That's all you need to do to hop in on all the great action. I've been winning a bunch and having a good time playing. So hope I see you guys on the virtual felt as well. All right, we're in the WSOP app. One funny little issue. The first time they made this WSOP Plus app in the summer last year, I trolled and did a code Rampage on Club WPT Gold thing post, and then they immediately banned me from being able to comment and make stories within the app, which is fair, I guess. But then now I have a little lock on my account that's like, hey, beware for this guy. This guy is all trouble. Oh my God, I haven't been in this room in we're in Planet Hollywood, by the way. I didn't even know they had a poker room, but this looks really sweet. Sometime on the Instagram story, everybody liked the accent, so sometimes I have to switch on and off from this insane voice. All right, let's see what we're doing. Small field. Very easily winnable. There's only 38 entrants right now. Late red, we're gonna play for 4 hours today, and then a bag for day 2 for some reason. But small field means very easily winnable, and you can just get a ring. I'm here in search of a ring. Everything else doesn't matter. We're here for ring number 7. We start off this $2,200 high roller with a 30,000 chip stack, and in level 7, the blinds are 300, 600, and I'm in the small blind with 7-4 offsuit. I decided to limp in this one off 50 big blinds, and my opponent in the big blind checks his option. So we're going heads up to a flop of Jack 5, 6, 2 hearts. We flop an open-ender, and I decide to bet 2 big blinds for 1,200 here, trying to get my opponent just off of the pot, and I hopefully can win this one with 7 high, but my opponent makes the call. The turn comes a queen, which is not the best card for my specific hand, but should actually favor me a lot more, so I decide to go for an overbet this time to 6,000. Can my opponent fold versus this overbet? And it's a disaster as he does not. My opponent makes the call. In the river now comes the ace of hearts, so the front door flush draw got there. It's not really a card that I want to bluff all of my chips on, even though I sized up for it. I decide to give up on my bluff and check with 7 high, and my opponent actually decides to go all in himself, and I fold. So there it is. First hand, punting off a good amount of my chips with 7 high, but we're trying to regroup in the next level at the 800 big blind mark. I've got king 10 offsuit on the button. I raise it up to 1,600 and we get some action as the small blind and big blind both call. Off to a flop of queen 3 deuce rainbow. Shouldn't really be a board that hits any of my opponents, and sitting with king 10 with some backdoor possibilities, I bet 2 big blinds here to 1,600. We get the small blind to make the call, but the big blind folds. So at least we eliminated half the field. In the turn comes the 9 of hearts. It brings in a gutter ball for me, and picking up some equity is more reason for me to fire out and continue with a double barrel bluff. He checks and I bet 5,500 and we get the fold. So it's very nice to win this pot. I'm back up to starting stack now, so I regain all the chips I lost from the first hand. and we're moving on with the blinds going up once more to the 1K big blind mark. We've got ace-jack offsuit in the cutoff, and I raise it up to 2,000. We get the button and big blind to call, so once again 3 ways, and it comes ace-9-4 to diamonds. We've hit top pair, we have one of the strongest kickers that we could possibly have, and I'm going to bet for value this time. If you've seen me bet a lot with air, it's about time I have top pair, and I bet 2,200 into the field, and we get the player on my left once again to make the call on the button, and the big blind folds. The turn comes the deuce of spades. It's a complete brick, and it's time to ramp up the pressure. You've seen me double barrel a lot as well with air, and I finally have a good hand. So I bet 8,500, hoping to get some more value and chips in this pot. But sadly, my opponent ends up letting it go. So we're starting to chip up slowly here in the early goings of this tournament. All right, we're on break. We've completed our first 2 hours of our first tournament of 2026 here at Planet Hollywood. And I have like 45, almost 50,000 chips, or 45,000 chips, which is lovely because, of course, the first hand I literally play, I just dust off a large percentage of my stack. But then we built it back up. So we started with 30,000 chips. I had 20,000 after the first hand, and then now we're at 45. So we're chilling. We're gonna get pretty shallow. Blinds are gonna keep going up. Late reg is still open, so we got 2 more hours to play, then we're gonna bag for a tomorrow restart. So still have a chance. Half the field is left. Very winnable. Let's just get it done. Progressing to level 11 at the 1,600 big blind mark, I've got king 6 of spades in the low jack, and I raise it up to 3,200. Only the big blind defends his option, and we're going to a flop which comes jack 4-5 to spades. I think we're going to build a big pot here, as I do have the second nut flush draw, and I bet 2,800 into the middle, followed by a call by my opponent. The turn comes a board pairing 5, and this is something you see a lot where the big blind's going to lead out for 4,500. I think he's a stronger range wrapped around the 5 that he could certainly have hit for trips, but with my flush draw, I'm going nowhere and make the call. The river now comes a king, so that's the unexpected top pair that I didn't think I was going to hit, but now my opponent fires out 20,000 in the middle, and considering I have a disguised top pair, he could be bluffing a lot with maybe 6-7, 8-6, 3 deuce, hands like this, so I make a quick call and somehow lose to queen 5 offsuit. What is that? I did not expect this hand to be in there, to be honest, calling and defending from the big blind, but he gets rewarded and my stack is crippled now. After an hour of card death, I've got ace-5 of spades in the cutoff, and I'm just going to be all in for not that many chips. It's only 19.5 thousand, and the big blind wakes up with pocket queens. That does not feel good, but I do have a chance to hit and stay alive, but it does not come, and that is the end of me on my first bullet of this $2,200 high roller. Right back into the tournament world. Is it so much fun to bust tournaments? Yes! And I get to go on my phone and click rebuy because I'm too stubborn to quit because we only have 50 more minutes of play and we're already here. Queen 5 off though. That guy was perfect. He literally said exactly what I thought in my head. I was like, Queen 5 suited, fine, you deserve to win. It's no big deal. But holy fuck, Queen 5 off is so disrespectful. And I was first to act. Moment of truth. Oh, we're in. Let's go. We're back. That's the life of playing tournaments. Just fire bullet after bullet after bullet. This is the content you came to tune in for. We have been slain, but we reborn with the same amount of chips with 30,000, and we're in the big blind with 6-5 of spades. The under the gun player raises to 3,500, I defend, and we're going to a flop of 10-4 deuce to clubs. I check it to my opponent, and he throws 3,000 into the middle. Flopping a gut shot straight draw is a lovely sight to see, but I don't think I have too many chips to check raise. I decide to call. The turn comes a 9, so that does nothing for me absolutely at all. I'm gonna fold if my opponent throws any amount of bet in there, but he ends up checking back, which is amazing, and we're off to a river which comes a 6. So I'm hitting third pair, and you're thinking, what do I do with third pair? And I think given this line of my opponent checking back, I can go for a small value bet and maybe try to get called by some smaller pairs like ace-4, ace-deuce, or even ace-high itself. So I bet 3,500 into the middle. It's a small tickle of a bet given the size of the pot, and my opponent calls, and I show my pair of 6s and win. So this is a lovely start to bullet 2. I'm very happy I found the value bet, and it's nice to take down the pot of the new bullet. So we're chipping up and the blinds have increased to the 2K mark, and I've got pocket 9s in the big blind, and there's a button who raises up the action to 5,000. It's a pretty large open here, to be honest with you, but here I think 9s is a very good hand to induce as a 3-bet, so I make it 16,000 before my opponent puts me all in, and I snap call, of course. This is exactly what I wanted to see, and it's lovely to see that we're up against ace-8 of hearts, so we're a favorite to win this hand. I got the chips in good, and the dealer is kind of struggling to figure out what's happening, but ends up killing me on the run out. They flop my opponent an ace, and just like that, I am once again out of the tournament, dying. I need to be reborn again. Fuck. Bullet number 2 is bad. I will not degenerately fire another one with 26 minutes left, but I will show up tomorrow. So I'll see you guys at 1 p.m. sharp. GG's to $4,400 today. It's a nice warm welcome back to the tournament streets. You just brick bullets and brick more bullets, and hopefully one of them in this little mini trip of ours, we turn into a victory. Enough chips this early on.
Yeah,
but
good luck.
That's cool.
There.
Hey, good luck. I like seeing you in the tournament streets, man.
Likewise.
Sweet. All right, welcome to day 2 of this thing and day 2 of the 2200. We're in for our 3rd bullet. There's 30 minutes left of late reg, so the goal is to hopefully not fire a 4th. We're already in for more than I want to be in this tournament. I'm already 5% of the prize pool, so I don't want to be in for another bullet and be like 7% of the prize pool. That would just be far too ridiculous. But hey, when duty calls, you show up and don't win all-ins, and I'm happy to help them make sure they make the guarantee. It's a 100K guarantee. They have 124K in the prize pool. I'm sure it'll be more with max late reggers, but what, I'm gonna hop in with 12.5 big blinds for 35 minutes. Time to spin. It's a new day and it's a new bullet where we're max late regging basically with about 12.5 big blinds. And the very first hand I get dealt in, I pick up ace-3 offsuit in the cutoff, and I jam, which is pretty cool because the big blind's not even at the table. And so we pick up the dead money and the dead chips. But that is the only significant hand of this level, as now we've got 24,000 chips entering the 3K big blind mark, which is only good enough for 8 big blinds. But with 8-9 offsuit in the big blind, the cutoff raises to 6,000, and I make the call with 2 cards that are connected to each other. Off to a flop of 8-7-3-2 clubs. I actually think about going all in and lead jamming here, but I decided to go for a small lead with top pair to 4,000. I think my hand just needs some protection, and my opponent makes the call. The turn comes a 10, which is a very spicy card, to be honest. I improved to an open-ender straight draw, but it is a card over my pair, so I could be losing to a 10. I opted for a check, even though I'm very happy to get it all in, and my opponent checks this one back. Now off to the river, which comes the ace of clubs, and I feel really weird about this card now all of a sudden. I obviously hate it, as I don't think I'm ever going to have an ace ever, and the club draw also got there, but with my pair of 8s, I decided to once again get very greedy and bet 1 big blind for 3,000 into the middle, and my opponent makes the call. I show my 8 suspiciously, hoping it's good, and it is somehow. To my surprise, I even surprised myself of getting value on this river here, but I'll take the pot, and I've pretty much almost doubled my stack up to 50,000 chips now. It was crucial to win the last pot because I get rewarded with pocket queens in the cutoff. I raise it up to 6,000 chips, and the big blind goes all in for 42,000. We snap call, beat them into the pot, of course, and we see we're up against ace-8 offsuit. Not even a suited ace here my opponent went in with, but I really like my chances of winning this pot as no ace comes out on the flop, turn, or river, and we find a very nice double up, and it's my first time having more than 100,000 chips in this tournament, and it's no better time to be peaking because there's only 24 players left out of the 71 entrants in the tournament. Next, we increase to level 15. The blinds are even higher, and there's 17 players left at this point, and I've got Jack-6 of spades on the button. I raise it up to 8,000 here on the button, and the big blind defends. Off to a flop of Queen 7-5, 2 spades. My opponent checks it over to me, and sitting with my flush draw, I'm gonna bet small into the pot for 7,000. I don't have that many chips since I started playing this pot with 25 big blinds, and my opponent does call for 7,000. The turn comes a board pairing 7s, so we've been in this spot before where the middle card paired and we have a flush draw, but luckily this time my opponent checks, and I'm going to wisely check this one back, hoping to see a very good river card, and it comes the 10 of spades! This is incredible, and even better as my opponent leads out for 12,000, a very small amount, and I think it's very indicative that I have the best hand here. So sitting with my jack high flush, I'm trying to get more value, and I decide to raise him up to 60,000. It's 5x his bet, and this seems to be putting my opponent into a tough spot. It seems like he really wants to make the call, and ultimately does with a 7. Wow, I win the pot, and I kind of wish my opponent actually led on the turn because it would have built a bigger pot, but results-oriented wise, I'm happy to win, and we win another big one, so we're up to 180,000 chips now.
We are on break. What a fun 2 hours it's been. I've had no chips, made good folds, doubled up some. Now we're alive. 16 players left. Made it to the final 2 tables, and we're 5 off the money, so there's a chance for something fun today. Very, very winnable tournament. It's only 16 players, but this guy's just sunring everyone, actually killing everyone. So just as long as I stay out of his way, I'm out.
Yeah, you need to. We need one.
All right, final 2 tables.
We lose an opponent from the other table, so we go from the final 2 tables of 16 left to 15 players left, and I've got pocket 9s myself under the gun. I raise it up to 11,000 at the 5K big blind mark, and action folds around to the button, who goes all in for 68,000 chips, good enough for 13 big blinds. I make the call, of course, with 9s, and we've got a flip against Ace Jack. Winning this one would be huge because I add more chips to my stack and also get one step closer into the money, and the turn and river are all clean and safe for pocket 9s. We win this flip, which is huge. I chip up in a massive way, and there's 14 players left now. 3 people need a bust for us to make it in the money, and there's no time to celebrate as we get right involved again with Ace 8 of hearts in the small blind. There's a hijack who raises to 10,000, and here in the small blind, given that we're so close to the money, I don't really love calling with my hand. I decided to 3-bet to a large size to 42,000. My opponent does make the call though. He's not one to back down, and he makes the call off of 180,000 chips, so we're going to a flop of 9-8 deuce rainbow. Here, I have middle pair, and I think there's some points where I gotta need a check sometimes, and my opponent checks this back. But the turn is the queen of hearts. That is really not the card I wanted to see. It could hit my opponent a lot, and now I'm sitting with third pair. But I do have a flush draw to go along with it, but I don't feel confident enough to bet my hand. So I decide to check it, and my opponent fires out 15,000 into the middle. This is a very, very small bet. Definitely one that I'm going to happily call with my pair plus flush draw. Can we hit on the river? It comes a 7. So I don't hit anything, and I'm still sitting with third pair. I check it to my opponent, and he quickly checks this one back with a very surprising hand of King Queen of Diamonds. So I'm kind of torn. I feel like if I bet the flop, I could have won the hand, which would have been huge for my chip stack, but I also kind of lost the minimum because my opponent didn't even value bet a queen that much on the turn or river. So I'm living with the pain of regret. I could have 300,000 chips and be second in chips of this tournament, but instead I'm going to lose this one, but at least I didn't lose too much. Then on my table, we see a massive all-in. It's pocket queens versus ace 10 of hearts at risk. Ace 10 flops the top pair, but ends up rivering a queen from out of nowhere on the river, and we have another knockout. We are 13 players left, specifically 2 off the money, and we get another knockout at the other table shortly after with 9-3 offsuit. So just like that, in a back-to-back chain of reactions, there's 12 players left, and we're on the stone bubble. The next person to bust will leave with $0 in their pocket, and everyone else will be able to lock up a min cash. On the stone bubble, we're getting spicy, and we're playing hands on the button with queen 10 offsuit. I raise it up to 11,000, and surprisingly, the small blind makes the call. He is the shortest player at the table, so he has the lowest amount of chips, and he's getting spicy by playing a hand. Off to a flop, which is beautiful for me. It's 10-9-6-2 spades, so I flop top pair, and my opponent decides to go all in himself for 21,000. I make a quick call, and we're up against king jack of diamonds. We have to fade a queen as well for 2 pair, so the turn comes safe, but the jack on the river gets my opponent to suck out and stay alive. I chip down a little bit here, which is sad, and we also aren't in the money yet as I don't get the knockout. But luckily, shortly after, there's a knockout at the other table, and we are officially in the money with 11 players left.
Lovely. And just like that, I get to give away 1% of this cash to anyone that uses code Rampage on gold. I'm giving away 1% for a lifetime as long as I'm with WPT. Oh, fuck, it's on me. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. But this is true. 1% up to 42K. I'd love to give away 400 chips to someone that uses code Rampage. So sign up today, and hopefully we give away $400 today.
The blinds have increased again at level 17, and we've got about 30 big blinds with ace-3 offsuit. I defend versus a hijack open to 12,000, and we're off to a flop which comes ace-9-6 rainbow. Given how few chips I have, I think this is a flop that I might go broke on with top pair. I check to my opponent and he fires out 9,000. I'm going nowhere, and I don't think my hand is strong enough to check raise as I'm a very weak kicker, so I make the call. The turn comes the 5 of clubs. It brings in a backdoor flush draw, and I check once again. And this time, I expect my opponent to bet a lot, and he does size up to 28,000. I still feel very, very good about my hand. I have got a very disguised top pair, and I'm not letting it go anytime soon, so I call once more. The river is the deuce of spades, so I check, expecting to call pretty much any bet by my opponent, but then he goes all in. Oh my, this is a massive, massive bet. It's over 150,000 chips as he covers me, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like I said, my mindset was I'm ready to call any bet, but this one is specifically far too big. My immediate reaction is to actually fold. But really, the more I think about it, how does this make sense at all? I don't know how he can put this many chips in, because if he really wants to get value from me with a better hand than mine, why don't just bet a normal amount? This seems extremely greedy, but I need my opponent to just be completely crazy to go all in as a bluff. And I think most opponents aren't as crazy as myself to bluff in this spot, so I go round and round and round in thought. But ultimately, I stick to my gut. I just go with my original decision, which was a fold, and luckily my opponent says good fold. He says he has 2 pair, but I don't really know if I believe him. But oh well, we're moving on as I folded top pair. Our tournament life is still intact, and we get king-queen offsuit next in the cutoff. I raise it up to 12,000, and the button goes all in for roughly 5 big blinds. So I make the call pretty quickly, and we're up against ace-8 of diamonds, and I just end up flopping the straight. The complete stone cold nuts for Broadway, and my opponent does not find a way to improve to a full house. So suddenly we get the knockout, and it's our first elimination after being in the money. There are officially 10 players left, which is shortly diminished to the final table because there's another knockout at the other table that we're at. So now we officially have combined to 9 players left at this final table.
All right, what a lovely start to this day and year, making a first cash and first final table of 9. 42K for first place. I'm here for a ring. That's what I care about. We're back to the same mentality. It's bink or bust. And we've locked up 4,700, which is something. But it's not a ring. It's not jewelry. That's what I'm here for.
It's nice to make the first final table in quite some time, especially in 2026. And we got the first all in here. Pocket 7s versus Pocket 9s, who's at risk. And Pocket 9s will win the 80-20 flip. So Pocket 9s doubles up, and we're still with 9 players. Then we see a massive all in. It's aces versus jacks. Jacks at risk here and is only 20% to stay alive, and aces ends up holding to win. We get a small little pay jump. 8 players are left now in this tournament, and now it's my time to get involved with pocket aces myself. The blinds have increased, and I'm in the cutoff here. The low jack player, who's the chip leader, raises to 16,000. I decide to 3-bet him to 42,000. We're trying to build a pot, and we're trying to play for stacks with a hand as strong as this, and my opponent makes the call. Off to a flop of Queen Jack 4 Rainbow. This is a flop that should favor me a lot, but could also hit my opponent. So when my opponent checks it to me, I throw 25,000 into the middle, good enough for about a third-sized pot bet, and my opponent makes the call. So we've got a big pot brewing, and the turn comes the 3 of diamonds, bringing in a backdoor flush draw. Here, my opponent checks, and with about pot behind, I decided to bet 55,000. This would size up geometrically to be all in on the river here, and I think with a hand as strong as aces that doesn't need too much protection, 55,000 is a good price for my opponent as well, as he comes along for a call. So one of the biggest pots of the tournament for me is brewing, and the river comes a king. I mean, naturally you'd think a king would be pretty good, but given how dynamic this board is, my opponent checks again, and I think of the wiser option, which is to check this back, not get too greedy, because I don't even know what could possibly call me. And we beat Queen 9 of diamonds, which turned complete gin. Very lucky to have faded it, but definitely was not going to get called on the river, so I'll take another big pot down. Then shortly after, we see another all-in. It's pocket jacks versus ace-king with ace-king at risk. It does not improve by the river, and now we get another elimination, another pay jump, and it's 7 players left now at this final table. Then things get spicy as an early position player raises to 16,000. The low jack goes all in for 130,000 chips, and I peel ace-queen offsuit in the hijack. This one seems like a very, very close decision. The low jack is clearly the shortest player at the table, and this is roughly good for about 15, 16 big blinds. And ace-queen offsuit are 2 very high cards. I decided to call here, thinking my hand could be ahead against the low jack a lot, especially when the early position player is the chip leader, and everyone ends up letting their cards go. But we see we've made a misstep as we're up against ace-king. We're gonna need to get extremely lucky to flop a queen! Oh, there it is! The sun run is here! I can't lose all-ins this time, and we hold to win this all-in. Get super lucky to suck out against my opponent. We have a massive pickup in chips, and there's 6 players left. We've got over 500,000 chips in my stack now, and we are truly peaking at this final table. There's no better time to sun run and suck out than right here, right now, at the final table, getting one step closer to getting the coveted WSOP ring that we need. We see another all-in. This time it's a flip. It's ace-king at risk versus pocket 5s. We're rooting for 5s to win this one, but it does not come true. We're still going to stay 6-handed as ace-king doubles up and survives. But then we've got in a massive hand, I pick up a premium of pocket queens on the button. The small blind and big blind are playing pretty deep stacked here, so I raise it up to 18,000. Both of the small blind and big blind players actually make the call, and this is going to be a big one, hopefully. The flop comes pretty safe for my hand. It's jack 8-5 2 hearts. Both of the opponents check it over to me here, and I'm going to size up on this flop. It's quite connected, and I imagine both of them could have connected with this board, so I bet 38,000 chips. The small blind, immediately next to act, decides to check raise me to 103,000. Oh my, the big blind gets out of the way out of this madness, and here we go with queens. We're not folding this one, but I think my hand actually needs some protection against some jack X, which could improve or see some scary runouts, and he's got about 200,000 chips behind. So here we go. There's no better time to be all in than with a strong overpair like mine. I jam and he snap calls with pocket 8s. Oh no. We're gonna play a massive chip lead pot, and I am severely behind, and that is until the turn queen out of absolutely nowhere. I was ready to count out my stack and give it to my opponent, but we hit the insane 2-outer for the chip lead pot. This is so crazy. My opponent was none other than Ryan Reese himself, a main event champion. But here we go. Luck beats skill. We get extremely lucky and win this one. And I've got the massive chip lead at the table now.
2026, the year of the sun run is fucking here, boys. The year of the sun. I've lost for long enough.
With 5 players left and over 800,000 chips in my stack, I can almost taste the victory, but we just need to knock out 4 more opponents to get this job done. Looks like I don't need to knock out any opponents myself, because we see the next all-in is pocket 8s versus pocket 10s. 8s are at risk, and they do not find a way to improve, as now we are 4-handed at this table.
Oh, it's been a while since I've had such a sun run like this. Ace queen versus ace king, bink, and then 2-outer on the freaking turn. Oh my, this is something special. It's nice to feel this run good. First tournament of 2026. The job isn't done yet, so I've got some more work to do, but I do have overwhelming chip lead to some degree. I have over 850,000, and I don't even know. Okay, let's do this, the math. Average stack is 530, so there's 2.1 million chips in play, and I have 800K. So I'm in a decent spot, but the job's not done. It's a super top-heavy tournament, so we're just gonna apply some pressure whenever possible and hope for the best. But here we freaking go. That queen felt so good. It was just 2 years of trauma and losing $2 million to bink a queen for $40,000 for first place. Slowly but surely. We're gonna climb out of this hole, but anyways, whatever. I'm very happy with how things are going so far. We've got 3 more people to knock out. We'll finish the job and get ring number 7. Let's go.
The blinds have increased, I've been chipping up, and we have a all-in on the button for 130,000 chips. It's 13 big blinds, and as a small blind folds, I peel king 9 of spades in the big blind, and I think this one might just be good enough for a call. So I do stick it in, as I think this hand can perform okay against a 13 big blind range, and we're up against ace 10 offsuit. So it's a clean and fair flip, and I've got 40% and a chance to win, and it does not come. Ace 10 survives, he doubles up, I lose a little bit of chips, but we're still steamrolling as the chip leader. Then the blinds have increased yet again, and the button raises to 25,000 off of about 30 big blinds in their stack. I pick up queen 3 offsuit in the big blind, and I think this is one of the perfect candidates to use as a 3-bet bluff. It's just such a bad hand, but I do have a high card which could give me some equity. I decided to put in a 3-bet bluff to 110,000 here, and my opponent on the button makes the call, which is quite scary. Maybe he just has a good hand, but we're going to a flop which comes ace deuce 4 rainbow. This one is pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident about this, as I'm going to have a lot of strong ace X's here, and I also have equity with a gut shot straight draw with my 3. So that's kind of the beauty of this hand, so I decided to go for a small 10% bet. My opponent doesn't have too much behind considering how big the pot is, so I put in a little sprinkle, but then he just raises me to 100,000. Oh, that's frustrating. I can't do anything with queen 3, obviously. I don't think I can call with just a gut shot straight draw, so I let it go and chip down. It feels bad, as I definitely would have bluffed it off and I could have doubled up my opponent if he had a strong hand, but I don't really get to win this one, as my bluff does not work out this time. Then the next hand, we pick up ace 5 offsuit and we're in the small blind. Action folds to me and I'm ready to battle it out with a decent hand against the big blind opponent. I raise it to 48,000, which is essentially 4 big blinds, and my opponent makes the call. Once again, we see a pretty decent flop on king 3-4 2 clubs. So we've got the gut shot straight draw yet again, which is very disguised. So I decide to lead out for 72,000. We're really just applying a lot of pressure against some smaller pairs. Maybe he can just have better ace highs, but my opponent does come along for a call. The turn now is the king of spades. So if he were to have top pair, it definitely eliminates some combinations of that now, as it would have improved to trips. So I'm not slowing down with the equity that I have. I block ace king and I block king 5, if that makes any sense. I throw 140,000 into the middle here, really trying to apply pressure, and I just might have to commit the rest of my chips in the middle if he calls on this turn card. But once again, my opponent raises me off the hand. Come on, he goes all in for 460,000. And this is really annoying. I mean, what are my opponents doing? Don't they know I'm trying to bluff it off into them? Anyways, I let my cards go, but it is very frustrating to chip down big time now. I was once chip leader, but after those 2 big bluffs that did not work out, we are blinding down to just 540,000, and the blinds are increasing yet again. With jack 8 of clubs now, I'm in the cutoff, and I raise it up to 32,000. I think this is just a pretty good hand to raise, and the big blind defends his option, and we're off to a flop of ace king jack rainbow. Considering this is a single raised pot and the big blind defended, I'm going to be betting this one even though it's bottom pair. I bet 34,000 into the middle, and once again, my opponent makes the call. So we just keep seeing resistance, but the turn 8 of spades is beautiful. We improve to bottom 2 pair, and now we've got some value. My opponent checks once more, and I decide to size up to 105,000. This will very much set up an all-in on the river, and luckily this time, I actually have something. My opponent does stick around for a call now, so we might be playing a very big one. The river is inconsequential, complete brick here, and now my fate is sealed. If my opponent somehow, which I actually don't believe at all, he could have a better 2 pair than me, decides to have that, then I'm going to be eliminated. But when my opponent checks it to me, I'm sticking to the plan. 2 pair is good enough to bet for value, and I'm all in for 320,000 chips. My opponent is in the tank for a while now, and when we fade the snap call, you know that your 2 pair is good, as he's not thinking about calling with anything better than my hand, but he displays some discipline and lets his cards go. So we move on, but I pick up a much needed pot, and the very next hand now, we're in the big blind with king jack offsuit, and the cutoff raises to 32,000. I defend with 2 very playable cards. Off to a flop of 9-7-6 rainbow. I decide to check it here as I completely whiffed the board, but my opponent checks it back, which is a little bit indicative of how strong his hand is. The turn is the 8 of diamonds, so now any 10 and any 5 is a straight, and Even though my hand isn't amazing as it doesn't interact with many 10s or 5s, I decided to lead for 60,000. We're just trying to fold out ace high at this point here. I don't know if a pair is going to be folding for this price just yet, and unfortunately my opponent does make the call. So now we're off to a river card and we need some help somehow, and it comes the deuce of spades. Not the card we were hoping to see. It's a complete brick that doesn't change the board, and now I decided to go for a small bluff of 70,000. I go really small because I think that he'll just fold one pair a lot, and like I said, I'm not really trying to fold out like queens or something if he were to slow play them, but somehow my opponent is confused and ends up making the call with a 10. Guys, he had king 10. That is the second nut straight. How does he make the call after such a small bet on the river too? Maybe my opponent's just playing extremely scared and cautious, but that is very impressive to me, and I feel like I just got away with it here. I didn't lose too many chips on my bluff, and it was clear that me betting any size was never going to work given how strong his hand is. Next, we are all in on the flop. Not me though, but two other opponents at the table. It's ace-8 of clubs versus 10-9 of clubs, and 10-9 of clubs is drawing pretty thin and does not improve, which seals its fate for this opponent here. Ace-8 will win the pot, and now we are officially 3 left in the tournament. And the next deal, this is a massive spot. It's pocket jacks versus pocket nines by my other two opponents, and this is for all the chips. This is like 100 big blind pot in the middle here, and pocket nines is at risk. We are an 80% chance to find an immediate way to go from four-handed to heads up in just 2 hands, and everything looks super clean for jacks until the 9 on the river. Oh my goodness. We just had to fade 2 outs to be heads up in this tournament. But here we are.
I'm losing my mind. I'm not playing amazing, but also I need to have it. But I'm in currently ICM hell with his 3 players left. That 9 on the river was bad. That was bad for me because we could have been heads up and we could have been against what I would consider a worse player than Joe Sirach. He's pretty solid. But now I'm in ICM hell with 30 big blinds, give or take, and the other guy's fairly short. He has half of my stack.
This next spot, the button goes all in for 153,000 chips. I've got Jack 9 of spades in the big blind, and considering what the blinds are now, this is about a 9.5 big blind jam. So I decided to make the call, and we're up against pocket 3s, so I really like my chances here with Jack 9. We just need to hit something at all, and that will knock my opponent out, and we brick the whole board. No! Oh man, these opponents are finding a way to stay alive 3-handed at this point, but I lose this one. I take a hit to my stack. I double up the shortest stack at the table, which is even worse for me, but there's no time to quit as we have another all-in. It's both of my opponents battling out again, and I'm just watching the madness. It's ace-8 offsuit versus pocket kings. Pocket kings is the best hand and does cover my opponent. Ace-8 finds an ace on the river. No! Once again, we were 3 outs.
I'm in fucking jail. Oh my god, I'm in so much jail. This is outrageous. Why can't someone just give me the 9K page up, please? Oh my god. Oh yeah, these rivers, man. Oh my god, this is the longest 4-handed, 3-handed match ever. The 4-handed match lasted like an hour and a half, and then we had back-to-back all-ins where I had to fade a 2-outer on the river and then a 3-outer on the river to be heads up. It's very emotional. I'm so emotional, and I'm really hungry, and I'm like freezing because I'm starving. I haven't eaten in 8 hours or so. It's actually 8 p.m. I haven't eaten in 9 hours, and all I want to do is win, but ladder first, and I bluffed off all my chips. I was chip lead 4 left. Now I'm last in chips out of 3, and the blinds are going up now. So what? I'm gonna have like 18 big blinds going into the next thing, and there's gonna be 100 big blinds in play. So we're gonna be spinning the wheel. It's my turn because I'm the shortest stack. I just want some collisions. Oh my goodness. This has been a roller coaster of emotions, but the road is not easy to get to ring number 7. I just want to get to heads up though. And now it's gonna be up to me. I can't just wait and fold anymore. I was in jail for a while and then I folded and I had very great chances to get to heads up. But yeah, now we gotta spin. I'll be all in. Big blind ante's a thing. It's gonna be hard to fold off 18 big blinds, and I'm just gonna have some faith that the all-in gods will be good to me. See, to get to ring number 7, I just want to get to heads up though. And now it's gonna be up to me. I can't just wait and fold anymore. I was in jail for a while and then I folded and I had very great chances to get to heads up. But yeah, now we gotta spin. I'll be all in. Big blind ante's a thing. It's gonna be hard to fold off 18 big blinds, and I don't know. I'm just gonna have some faith that the all-in gods will be good to me.
Coming back from break, the blinds have increased to the 20k big blind mark. I am frustratingly trying to find a way to ladder up, but I need to get involved, and this time I have queen 10 of clubs in the small blind. Considering the ICM implications here, I decided to go all in for my stack. It's about 16 big blinds, and it might be a big jam, but I just want to take down the 2 blinds in the middle here, but my opponent is in the tank. It's the first hand back from break. Can we get this jam through? He makes the call with ace 7 of spades. Here we go. It's my turn to suck out, hopefully, as the smaller stack. And for my tournament life, I'm all in with 40% equity against ace 7, and we do not find a way to improve. And after all of the roller coaster back and forth of all ins, somehow I'm the one left getting knocked out in 3rd place. We were so close to being heads up on 2 different occasions, but I don't get that ladder, and that's how our tournament journey ends.
This is what you get for running into 2 and 3 outers. Did not have much faith. Ring number 7 will wait. I will take 3rd place for some amount. And congratulations to the 1% winner. Use code Rampage on gold. Shout out. The screenshot is here for the winner. I think I won like 18k, so 180 chips coming your way. I don't know. It's a good run. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the help.
Good night. Thank you for
You as
playing
well.
with us.
No problem. I will take it. This is a good start. These will fund more tournament bullets, because at the end of the day, everything is a satellite. But if you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, sticking to the end. We've got a lot more of this format, so let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!